We respectfully request the Sangha of great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tận thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh. Tịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly cố đạt lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Saranto Suchedo Ye Alahudi San Miao San Puto Che. Nam mô Tạc Tạc Tha Tô Ya Đà Ya Alaha Đế Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng she wei miao fa bai jie wan jie nan zao yu, wo jin jian wen de shou qi, yuan jie ru lai zhe shi yi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Qingliang, Venerable YongHua, Venerable Left-Home people, and all good new advisors, Emitofuo. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư, Hòa thượng Tiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, Chính Liang Đại sư, sư phụ sang人, 各位出家人, 各位上智师, Emitofuo. Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming. Today is the 15/12, the 12th of November. Right, time flies. 2021, we are gathered here to continue discussing the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra. It is a survey of the profound principles that may not come out as clearly in the sutra text. So it is a work of great importance for the people who wish to understand the important teaching and the profound teaching of the Avatamsaka Sutra. All right? So we've been talking about the causes and conditions of why the sutra was spoken, why this profound Dharma was spoken, the most profound Buddhist wisdom was spoken for the Bodhisattvas. And now it's our turn to study it so that we can understand and practice the Bodhisattva path and certify the fruitions. Okay? So these are the reasons why this sutra was lectured by Shakmina Buddha. In the future, it will also be lectured by Maitreya Bodhisattva as well when he becomes a Buddha. First thing he'll do as well is to explain this sutra, okay, for the Bodhisattvas. And I hope by then you yourself become a Bodhisattva, and then so that you can attend this wonderful, wonderful lecture. It's nothing like attending this sutra lecture with the Buddha, and hopefully you can ask questions. All right, so we're in 376, right? So we talked about the various causes and conditions. They not only one that he listed 9 prior causes and conditions, and he says not only individual, the actually causes can be paired up or can be interact mutually. They interact mutually to create this explanation of this sutra. All right. And you can use your own deduction to do that. Okay, 377. The second explanation of sutra's conditions. So first we talked about the causes. Now the conditions. The outset of each sutra states the time, the place, the persons, and so forth. This is all arisal from conditions.
第二，明说经缘者，一切经首、说十方人等，皆是缘起。
All right, 378. Okay, the second condition, why the sutra will explain, is that at the beginning of the sutra, you have these 6 requirements like time, the place, and so forth, and those are the conditions for speaking the sutra. What are the 6 requirements, the 6 realization? The faith. First and foremost is faith. Faith is so critical because unless you have faith, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will not bother teaching you the profound principles. Why is that so? It is the case because the profound principles cannot be understood by your thinking mind. It's not supposed to be. You're not supposed to be able to understand it using your deduction, using your worldly knowledge, your worldly thinking. So that's why, and that's the nature of Mahayana teaching, is that you can't understand it. That's why you accept it, because those are the teachings of the Buddhas. Buddhas never tell fibs. They never lie. Therefore, you should have faith that whatever they tell us is true. Whatever they tell us is to greatly benefit us. Okay? And including bodhisattvas, by the way. The bodhisattvas became bodhisattvas because they endured a lot of tests of what? What kind of tests? Tests of faith. For example, you may think it doesn't apply to you, but in our small world where the Master YongHua brought Mahayana to the U.S., the first test he gave all of us, all his disciples, is a test of faith. That's what I had to pass as well personally, because I never had the chance to ask him in person. I never was able to attend a Chan class unlike you, or a lecture, a sutra lecture unlike you. All I learn is from secondary sources, either through translation, through text, through recording, through the so-called recollections or reminiscence of his disciples. So I learned secondhand, if you will. Okay? But that also includes tests. So when I first started to learn Chan, one of the first lessons stuck in my mind immediately upon reading and listening to all his teachings. Because unlike you, I didn't have the luxury of him looking me in the face, looking me in the eyes, and feeling my presence and tell me something that would be applicable to me personally. All I had is a generic instruction he gave to his disciples, all kinds of disciples, when he taught Chan. But one of the first things that stuck in my mind was to endure the pain. Okay? It's totally nonsense for a person from my background. Okay? Pain is something that worldly people abhor, they run away from. Why would you endure the pain? That's totally nonsense. Okay? And so that's the first test of faith right there. You endure the pain. That's it. And not only endure the pain, he also said, the more you endure, the better. Okay? And no rhyme or reason, no real explanations. Nowadays, when I explain it to you, I say, oh, you're so good, you endure a little bit more, 2 more minutes, 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, half an hour, 30 more minutes, and so forth. And see what you're gaining from this increased endurance, this increased bearing of the pain. So I can explain to you, but back then, on my own, I just endured. That's it, okay? And if I didn't have the faith, I would have dropped out and stopped. I would not be able to share with you this wonderful teaching called bearing the leg pains, okay? And it may not work for many of you, but it worked for some of you. And eventually, of those of you who are not doing well so far, eventually in the future you will. Okay? And so, because there is this test here, it's a test of faith, which more than just can be justified by my explaining to you why. I can tell you the benefits of this bearing thing here and all the wonderful things that comes with it that are not obvious to you. It's obvious to me because I did it, I endured it, and I saw a lot of my disciples, my students, and not even my own disciples, go through this process and how the kind of benefits they got out of it. And like primarily, for example, health. Every time you endure the pain, you sit a bit longer, you're healthier. Okay? And so it's so many wonderful, wonderful things. And I discovered them because of an act of faith. You see? So that's the nature of Mahayana teaching. That's the nature of the Mahayana practice. Okay? And I admit to you, I did something very stupid called enduring the pain. Okay? I cannot explain to you why I did it. There's no way, no reason in this world I can give you to justify my stupid behavior, except that those are the words that came from a great, great Chinese teacher. A person that I believed that teaches these things because it's for our benefit, not his. He never tried to become more famous, never tried to get more money, and so forth. Okay, and so back then I didn't even have the smarts like many of you nowadays can have been able to manage to justify yourself. Back then I simply did it because he said so. And now I can sit here and explain to you because I went through those tests myself and saw how many of you endured the tests and got wonderful results from those things. I can tell you that it's not about understanding. Mahayana can only be benefited by faith. What is faith? Faith, what we're talking, this is one of the conditions for the teaching. Okay? In that context, the teaching cannot be given to you unless you believe. You don't believe, will not be given to you. Not the great teachings. Yes, we helped you, teach you arithmetic. We teach you how to get along with your family members and so forth. Okay, it doesn't require faith to do that. Okay, but in order for you to connect with your inner wisdom, the wisdom inside of you that you already have. Okay, it's not outside of you at all. That you have, that I have. We all have. Okay? See, when I talk about that right then, there's a requirement for you to believe there is something inside of you called wisdom that you possess. Okay? Unless you believe in that, there's no point in me going further and teach you more. Once you believe it, then it makes sense to teach you. If you believe that you have this inner wisdom there that you can utilize, you can learn to manipulate and utilize it for your own benefit, great benefits, then we teach you how to use it. Until then, there's no point in teaching you, jumping the gun and teach you how to use that wisdom. Okay? You need to be able to connect with it, recognize it first. Okay? So if you believe that you have such a thing called your Buddha wisdom, or you will, no matter who you are, you have this thing called Buddha wisdom. And do not ever let anyone tell you otherwise. In a prior class, I yelled at my student, I chastised her publicly. I said, "You stupid." And what I didn't tell people because the listener was upset, so I didn't want to praise her. Okay? You stupid. I'm stupid. But that Buddha wisdom there, okay, is still there. It's still available. It's still inside a stupid person as much as a smart person. There's no difference. You're temporarily stupid. I'm temporarily stupid. But once I learn to be able to use that wisdom, we are the same. You know that? Okay? So that's the distinctive characteristic of Buddhism. We all have this wisdom that is the same for all of us. Okay? That's called the Buddha's wisdom. Okay? And therefore, in order to start on that journey, okay, you must begin with this thing called faith. Otherwise, you cannot get into this world. And this faith here costs you nothing. Nothing, absolutely. We can't charge you for your faith because it's yours. It's not ours. We can't give faith to you. You have to decide, yes, I believe, or not. It comes from you. How can we possibly charge you for it? Okay? So that's why in order for this important teaching, this Avatamsaka Sutra, or the next set of important instructions to come to you, you have to develop faith. And then you have even more faith before more and more beneficial instruction will be given to you. Okay? Does it make sense? That's why these are conditions for the sutra to be spoken. Not only the faith from the Bodhisattvas originally, when it was first spoken by Shakyamuni Buddha, but also now, if the Bodhisattvas were qualified to listen to it, okay, then because of these requirements, these realizations, okay, of faith, then we, in order to listen to this sutra, also only need to have these 6 realizations. The first one being faith. All right? And there are other realizations like hearing. Hearing meaning that, and the certification that a sage, meaning someone better than us, listen to it. And he says, yes, I did listen to it. This is not a figment of someone else's imagination or the words of a demon or some sales pitch, okay, of someone who's trying to con you. This is from a sage. He says, I heard it. I heard this from the Buddha's mouth. I heard it from him. I heard this teaching here. All right? And number 3 is the time. It did happen. It happened in the past. It will happen again in the future. Okay? With the next set of people. And the host. Number 4, host. Host is, the host here in particular is the Buddha. It is so important, it is so profound that this teaching here cannot be credible, cannot be properly transferred to us unless the person is qualified. And the host is the speaker, is the Buddha. Okay? He knows his stuff. There's a place, okay, where it happened. Okay? And the place here, and you see that when we go into the text, and these places are important because there's a reason why it's spoken at various places. For example, one of the places is in the heavens. Okay, I believe the second desire heaven. Why the second desire heaven? Because in that place, that's where his mom stays. Okay, the Buddha's maternal mother, own mother, Lady Maya, who gave birth to him. Okay, and then after 7 days, she died. So she died not because of childbirth. She died because she's done her job, and she's not there in order to enjoy the privileges and benefits of being a queen or wife of the king. But she's there to fulfill her obligation, her vow in the past, to give birth, to be the mother of the Buddhas. She made a vow. It says, on my Bodhisattva path, part of my contribution is to be the mother of the Buddhas. Okay, so that's what she did. She ascended from the heaven of the 33 down to earth, became born as a woman and became a queen, a woman of nobility. She was a cousin of the Buddha's father, the pure-eyed king, and so she bore the king, the Buddha, and then after she gave birth to him, beautiful and healthy baby boy. And she left and said, I'm done. Okay, she just wept. So after the Buddha became a Buddha, okay, he went to the heaven to speak the Dharma in order to pay filial piety to his mother. Okay, and so that's part of the teaching. One of the reasons is that he's teaching a lesson of filial piety. Okay, so the place is important. The assembly, of course, the assembly is important, is because the Dharma is always tailored towards the listeners, the people present there. Okay, so for example, depending on who's present in the assembly, the Buddha spoke the different kinds of dharmas. So same thing with Master YongHua. When he explained sutras, depending who is available at the time, he would explain them at the level of these people could understand. Okay, otherwise they stop coming, then the sutras and the lectures will have to end, because when no one comes, there's no reason to lecture sutras anymore. So the sutras lectures are to serve the needs of the people who there, who present. Okay, so those are the 6 conditions that we need to have in order for these important teachings to be bestowed upon us. 379. I think it's purple because there's a reason. There's some kind of things we need to address. Now, there are the 10 conditions. Okay? What are the conditions? 1, depending on the time. 2, depending on the place. 3, depending on the host.
今有10缘：1依时，2依处，3依主。
Okay, so the great master Qing Liang goes into great details. The 10 conditions, not just specifically that are directly connected to the speaking of the sutra. 1, depending on the time, okay, and 2, depending on the place, depending on the host, okay. And I think it will be explained a little bit later. 381. 4, depending on the samadhi. 5, depending on the manifestation of marks. 6, depending on the speaker. 7, depending on listeners.
4依三昧，5依现象，6依说者，7依听者。
Okay, 382, commentary. Okay, 4, depending on samadhi. We covered some of those already. We talked about the time, the place, and so forth. The 4th condition is depending on the samadhi. By the way, this is typical of the Buddhists and Bodhisattvas. Every time they speak sutras, they speak important dharmas, they speak when in samadhi. Okay? So that's why it's a requirement that when Buddhas and Bodhisattvas give us these blessings, these gifts, okay, they need to enter samadhi. Okay? The samadhi of speaking. So each particular dharma has different types of samadhis. In particular, this seeing thing here, he needs to enter some kind of samadhi to speak this Avatamsaka Sutra. Okay? There are millions of different types of samadhis in Buddhism. So the particular samadhis that he needs to enter in order to speak different kinds of topics. All right? 5. The 5th condition, depending on the manifestation of marks. Okay, that is the marks here refers to the fact that when speaking the sutra here, he manifests as a 1,000 foot tall, the reward body Buddha, or Nishyananda Buddha, to speak this sutra, Flower Adornment Sutra. Okay, because that's what this he manifests this reward body in order to impress and teach the bodhisattvas, to please impress the bodhisattvas. All right, and so that's how he chooses to speak this sutra to the bodhisattvas, by manifesting his reward body, Nishyananda Buddha. All right. Number 6, depending on the speaker. Speaker, sometimes the speaker of the sutra is not the Buddha himself. It could be some sort of bodhisattvas or mahasattvas. Okay, and the reason being that in the actual text itself, sutra text itself, you have, for example, universal worthy bodhisattva speaking a sutra, or you have one Manjushri speaking a sutra, or sometimes it's some sort of bodhisattva speaking a sutras and explain it, and they all those texts are preceded by this phrase. He says, at that time, great bodhisattva or bodhisattva so-and-so, aided by the spiritual power of the Buddha, spoke these verses. Okay? And so that's what it is. And sometimes these bodhisattvas spoke the sutras, spoke the Dharma, which makes a part of the sutra. But actually, they are aided by the spiritual powers of the Buddha. Okay? So that's why the speaker, sometimes it's much better for other speaker to speak the Dharma instead of the Buddha himself. Okay? And 7 listeners, we brought it up already. Okay? 383. 8, depending on the basis in virtue. 9, depending on the requester. 10, depending on the assistance.
8,依德本；9，依情者；10，依家者。
All right, 384. Number 8 condition. Depending on the virtue, the basis of virtue, meaning the virtue of the speaker. The virtue here is what? The virtues here refers to, well, we can summarize in 2 things. Okay, number 1 is the desire to benefit us. Okay, Buddha's desire, only wish is to help us and our suffering, attain bliss, and be just like him. Not to convert us, not to whatever. You don't have to be Buddhist in order to become enlightened. It's a fact. There are, for example, out there right now, there are plenty of people who are enlightened, who are not even Buddhists. Okay, so that's why whatever it takes to benefit others, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will do accordingly. They would come to our world as a Catholic, as a Christian, as a Mormon, as a whatever, as a king, as a businessman. Okay, so because they wish to benefit us, and in order to do so, they teach us about virtues too. Okay, not just of speaker, but also to set the example to the listeners. All right. Number 9, the requester. Requester here is greatly influences the range of the teaching. Okay, because Buddhism is very, very specific. Buddhist teaching is very specific. We never give you things that you don't need. Okay, in a prior chant class, I told the class, for example, I said, there's no point in understanding everything. And you could try to understand everything. To me, it's a waste of time. Okay? All you need to do is know enough in order to get to the next level or next levels. Okay? It's not about understanding. So that's why, depending on who wants to learn, or this requester is a person who says, please teach me. Okay? Then the teaching is bestowed for that person, to benefit that person, not just everyone. This is not a scholarly work. This is not a theoretical work. The requester took the time to come and request the Buddha, say, please teach me, because there's certain needs that he or she represents, either for herself or the people that are connected with this requester. So the Buddha now must respond. Remember the Bodhisattva path? Bodhisattva path is that when someone asks you, you have to give them. You cannot say no. That is a real Bodhisattva. Okay? In our assembly, there's no real Bodhisattva. because people come to us, especially my disciples. I'm not as bad as my disciple. I'm proud to tell you. My disciple said, your request doesn't make sense. I'm not going to give it to you. I don't care. I rarely do that, right? I always accord with people. It's a little bit funny because we have someone who's afflicted this morning, asking me to do this, do that. I said, no, I'm not giving to you. That's very rare. I usually give you everything you want. I said, no, I'm not going to give you this. I'm going to leave it there so that you get even more afflicted. Okay, so the requester for making a request deserves to be taught. Okay, and number 10 on the assistance. Assistance meaning that what's available. Okay, if, for example, what kind of assistance can you give to the speaker? For example, you ask the Buddha to stand and speak the Dharma. How long do you think he's going to stand there and speak Dharma to you? Not very long. He's an old man. Okay? So his legs will get tired. So that's why the assistance to the speakers that you arrange to have a Dharma seat, you arrange to have flowers, you arrange to have tea so that they can't sleep at night. Okay? It's funny. Sometimes I just recently I discovered, how come on Friday nights I have a hard time sleeping? And I realize I have work to do on Saturday morning. Unlike you who don't have to get up on Saturday morning, okay? I have a class, I have to teach at 9 a.m. every single Saturday morning. And so to me, my beauty rest, my rest is important. But recently, for some reason, I couldn't sleep Friday nights. So Saturday morning, my mind is groggy and I'm grouchy and everything. So I finally realized it's the wonderful tea that's given to me. Thank you so much. I drink to that. For the last time, I'm sure these people always adjust. Now, next time they give me only water. Okay, so the assistance. Also the important concept about assistance is that the Dharma that is bestowed upon you actually came through with a lot of help from so many people, even in our small world where we're trying to make this available to the West, people here in the U.S. and people who are on online and so forth. Look, we have people who do run the audio, video, people who do translation, And I'm proud to tell you, people are translating from all over. I'm here, but the Vietnamese translator is in down south California. In the future, I can see would have translator all over the world. Somewhere in not Russia, in Mexico City, translating in Espanol for people, the Spanish-speaking people, and the Portuguese now jump on the bandwagon and say, I'm going to do Portuguese for Portuguese-speaking people and so forth, and so that the Dharma is available to more people, and we need help, okay? And a lot of people, what's happening today is a lot of people already volunteered, okay, to help and provide assistance to make it available to people. Okay? So the Dharma, I realize in a very humbly experience. And you realize that every time we have a Sutra lecture or Dharma talk, you notice how many problems we have. Every time it's like we cannot hear the Vietnamese translation, or the Korean questions, or they messed up our internet connection and so forth. We have so much help, okay, and also help in your patience. Your patient will wait for us to work through these things, and being cheap instead of hiring some professional audio video things, or paying to make sure that it goes uninterrupted and so forth. We choose to test your patience. All right, so assistance from you. If you don't show up and go through there with our, unprofessionalism and so forth. And I like to joke that if in the real world, I would fire all of my assistants, but I don't pay them, so I can't really fire them. Okay, next, 385. Now they elaborate. Okay, he elaborates. Now the first, depending on the time, whenever the mind meshes with the highest way, then ancient and present blend into one.
经出一时，夫心明至道，则魂依古今。
386. How far do you have to go? 9 o'clock, right? The time, changes, messes me up. I look and do I end at... Okay. Commentary. Now the first, depending on the time. Whenever the mind meshes the highest way, then the ancient and present blend to one. Okay? Because we are attached to time. Okay? When mind, okay, mind meshes with the highest way, okay, Chu Tao is not the highest way, it's the ultimate way. Okay? Make the correction. Mind meshes, Xin, Yin, whatever, Ming, or whatever. Chu Tao, this is the ultimate way, and the way should be capital W. Okay? Because the Buddhist teaching is the ultimate way. Ultimate way meaning that we view the ultimate pleasure, the ultimate benefits. Okay, so when there's this, the two of them are in sync, then in the Vasha Sutra it refers the fact that past thought cannot be obtained, present thought can be attained, future thought cannot be attained, meaning that there's no more discrimination between ancient or present, or past or the future. Okay, so this what does it mean? It means that this teaching here has to be timeless. It has to transcend the limitations of time. It doesn't have to be fashionable. It doesn't have to only appeal to the audiences present, but it has to be true. It has to be authentic. It has to be beneficial in the infinite timeline. Okay, so that's why this teaching here has to be valid, has to be true for all times. All right? It will never change. There's only one teaching, one truth, one ultimate truth. That's why it doesn't matter when it's explained. It will be the same thing. All right? 387. Since the Dharma realm has no production, there is basic absence of time divisions. A verse later in the sutra says, when the thus come one obtains bodhi, it actually is not bound to a day.
法界无生，本王时分。下经记云：如来得菩提，实不系于日。
Okay, 388, commentary. The Dharma realm has no production. There is basic absence of time division. Okay, the Dharma realm has no production. What is this referring to? The Dharma realm is a technical jargon for the universe. All of it, all the ball of wax. Okay, it says this thing here, this universe here, whatever you want to call it. The Buddhists call it Dharma realm. The intellectuals, scientists call it, what is it? I don't know, galaxies, or the universe, and so forth, whatever you want to call it. This thing here, okay, that conceptually includes everything. Everything you know of, you can think of. Okay, whatever you can think of, it's there. It's included in there. Okay, it says that thing has no production. No production. What does it mean, no production? You see, this is so Buddhist. You read it and you think, oh, no production. It's clear, no production. It means that this Dharma realm here, this universe here, is always there. It's not like it came through the Big Bang theory, or it was created somehow, at whatever year in the past. Okay? Not at all. This Dharma realm here, this entire universe here, has always been there, and will always be there. Long after we gone, it still is there. Before we here, and after we dead, it's still there. Okay, so that's what it means. What is meant by a Dharma realm, no production, because it's not born, doesn't come into being. It's always there. This entire thing here is always there, and therefore there is fundamentally no time divisions. Please change the English. This is nonsense. Basic absence of time divisions. That's Chinglish, Chinese English. Okay, it means that fundamentally there is no time divisions. Will someone correct it, please? All right. Is that clear? He says, if he's always been there, then there's no point talking about when it came to being or when it would disappear or when and so forth. It's no time divisions. Okay? No distinction of time. The universe is the universe. Okay? It doesn't mean the universe is the same. It evolves. Whatever it is, it changes in shape, it changes in form. Sometimes it expands a little bit, sometimes it shrinks a little bit, and whatever it is. But it's still the universe. It's not like it was created at all. It's always been there. You just don't, there's no way for the scientists or people to imagine when it came to being. It's so always been the case. You go back as far as you want, it's always been there. Okay? Yeah. So that's why there's no point talking about when this Dharma realm or this universe was created or when it first came into being. It's always been there, as far as you can remember. Okay? A verse later in the sutras says, what is it? The next commentary is that the shrink limitless kalpa into one thought, expand one thought into limitless kalpas. Okay, so the concept here is that one thought there, the span of one thought, okay, can be stretched into limitless kalpas. Okay, meaning that there's one thought there will take the span of a long, long time, okay? Or the span of a long, long time period can be shrunk down into one thought, okay? So that's why this time distinction is only for unenlightened people. All right? And so in the sutra, it says, the second one obtains bodhi actually not in one day. It takes a while. All right? Next, 389. Moreover, the speaking has no bounds, for thoughts and kalpas are in perfect fusion.
况无涯之说，念结圆融哉。
Okay, 390, commentary. The speaking has no bounds. This speaking of sutra here is not bound by the past, by the present, and by the future. Okay, meaning that the sutra is always spoken. All right, and because thoughts and kalpas are in perfect fusion, so the one thought does not obstruct the great kalpas. One minute time interval cannot obstruct a long time interval. Okay, so they're perfectly fused. No beginning, no end. Okay. Don't try to understand. This is not something that ordinary people can understand, but have faith. Okay? Let's enjoy the fact we hear about this and simply tell ourselves, I don't get it. Okay? It's okay. I don't get it. If the Buddha says so, let's have faith that someday I will get it. 391. Now, to use the time of no time in general, there appear 10 kinds of differences of time.
今以无时之时，略显时重时别。
Okay, he's playing game with this because of you are so smart. He says, let me elaborate. 392. And he says, no, the time or no time, meaning that when we talk about time, we actually are not talking about time. Okay? It's just a way of speaking. But however, when we talk about this, if you are so insistent upon differentiating time, present, past, and future, actually there are 10 kinds of differences of time. And they are 393. First, only one thought. 2, throughout 7 days. 3, pervading the 3 limits.
初为一念，2尽7日，3遍3季。
Okay, 394. Interesting. He says, well, you want to talk about time, okay? Meaning when you cultivate. Understand that? He's talking time here is about our cultivation. When you cultivate, you're talking about time. These are the one thought, okay? And there are 3, the 3 distinctions. One thought, meaning what? What kind of thought? What kind of thought? Oh, what is he talking about? For you, it's the thought of quitting. That's all that matters. You can do anything you want. You can, you can recite the mantra, and you can sit there for a long time, or you can sit there for a short time. All that matters, in particular in your Chan practice, your Maya practice, you're being trained the way you're being trained here. The one thought here, all the time before that doesn't matter. All that matters is that thought of you quitting. All the suffering doesn't matter. You're supposed to suffer. Stop complaining. You're supposed to have pain. Supposed to struggle. Yes? But that's talk. The only thing that matters is that thought of quitting is the main thing that stops you from making progress. That stops you from becoming a Buddha. Only one thought that matters. The thought of stopping yourself. And not for me. That's enough. I give up. This doesn't make sense. And it's something that I cannot explain to you when I teach you meditation. Because all you see is, oh, it hurts so much. Oh, why is it so hard? My whole body is aching and I can't take this anymore. All those thoughts are okay. They're perfectly normal. But the one thought that you cannot have is, I quit. The only thought that matters is, I quit. What are you going to do when a thought arises? I give you a simple version of one thought. There's many more critical, shall we say, turning points. Okay? That one thought right there is the only thing that matters, whether that prevents you from becoming enlightened. Nothing else matters. You can be king for 10 lifetimes. You can be concubine for 10,000 kings. Are you listening? Way Mountain Temple? I have someone who proposed, who says, I discovered, Master, that I want to be your concubine. I said, say what? I said, what happened to your prior king? She says, I don't want her anymore. I said, why me? It's too much. You know what I mean? And she's so adamant. She said, I said, are you sure? I said, yeah, absolutely. She said, I said, I know you. That thought they only last until you find the next better king. You traitor. Okay? So, you see, that thought there, it's so beautiful. You guys think of thought as, what is this thought here? No, this thought he's referring to is the thought that arises at critical times that prevents you from opening your wisdom and see who you really are. It prevents you from discovering how marvelous you really are. Now I sound like a preacher. It's true. That's all that matters. You understand? What about 1 week, 7 days? As long as we're here, can I share you something much lower level? I don't understand 7 days. Okay, because it's too long for me. I'm so used to dealing with one thought. And takes so much out of me already, let alone 7 days. Okay? What about these 7 days here? It's a very important thing. 7 days here, that's when major changes occur inside of you. Changes take time. Big changes, metamorphosis, revolution, whatever, okay? Those important changes need occur in a cycle of 7 days, upon 7 days, upon 7 days, upon 7 days. Go ahead, YouTube. Okay, never mind YouTube. You're too slow. You missed your chance. Time is up. Okay, we'll give you a second chance. YouTube. 1, 2.
From Bosco, when the thought of wanting to quit, what should we do about it?
Beats me. Learn how to deal with it. What else? You want me to do it for you? You want to thought I quit? Here, Master, you do it. How about that? Okay? Yeah. Then the thought quitting arises. You should, for example, what do I need to do not to quit? You figure out a way not to quit. Okay? Simple as ignoring it. So what? It hurts. So what? Hurt some more. No, don't do that. It really hurts a lot more. It never worked for me. Master YongHua says, when my legs hurt, I told my legs, why don't you hurt some more? And it passes. I tried that. Don't ever do that. It's bad advice. Maybe it works for the Chinese, it doesn't work for me. Okay? Didn't work for me, doesn't work for me. Okay? Will never work for me. Okay? But this thought of quitting, just the biggest thing is ignore it. And guess what happens? It comes up again. He says, that's quit. I said, hell no. He says, really? That's quit. He says, yes. You keep on struggling with that. And pretty soon, 7 days pass. But no, your smart mind says, it comes up with so many reasons to justify why you should quit. All the cleverness, all your education, all your training comes to the fore and say, let's see, what did my PhD training program teach me about this case? Okay, why I should quit? Okay, and you can write whole dissertations because you're trained to do that. Go ahead, write your own dissertation, but just don't quit. Keep yourself busy. Embrace it. And you're supposed to struggle for a reason. If you continue to struggle and not quit, okay? Eventually, you understand why you're struggling so much. If you don't, and you quit, and you don't continue and you quit, you never understand why you're suffering. There's a reason why it hurts. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to give you the easy way out. If I told you, it's not going to help you. This is not intellectual reasoning. It's karmic. You can't justify it. You can't rationalize it. All you want, you can be the smartest person. Even Einstein or a 200 IQ person cannot justify it, cannot explain this. Okay? So, that's what you do. And you can tell that Bosco is a wimp. He asked, those people who asked, I'm glad only one of you is honest enough to ask me, what do I do when the thought of quitting arises? Okay? On behalf of all you wimps, ignore it. It's a simple answer. Just ignore it. What do? I taught you. Ignore it for 2 more minutes. Ignore for 5 more minutes. Embrace it. I'm going to ignore you. Hello, brother. Here you are again, here to torment me. All right? 7 days, okay? One very, very important distinction that is time for me to tell you is that 7 days is when your psyche, your spiritual being, your spiritual attainment, okay, wherever you get, whatever you do, okay, it takes about 7 days for your body to catch up with it. That's a secret. That's why we do cheese. We do 7 days. We don't do 3 days. We don't do 5 days. We don't do 9 days. It takes 7 days for you, your body, your physical body, your flesh body, and your mind to be in sync again. Shh. Don't tell the Chinese. Don't even. Okay? So, practical applications. I've been ignoring this, but it's more prudent to no longer ignore it. Because I'm hearing people having problems. Okay? When you practice and you push yourself excessively, like you make leaps, I advise you to go with small increments. But one day, those of you who are crazy enough to say, no, my master is too slow, he's old, he's slow, he's conservative, he's a chicken, quack, 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 quack. Master is now not willing to take chances, and so forth. I'm not guru, I'm much better person than that. Instead of doing 2 minutes increments for my sits, I would do 20 hours. Anyone? See? There's some people, okay, who are that crazy. And I tell you, I assure you, it's craziness. You try to do that. YouTube, go ahead.
From Derek, Master, is it okay to cry, be angry, have thoughts, and do anything when I sit as long as I don't unbuckle?
Oh, shame on you. Why would you cry? You mean he hasn't done all these things already and he pretends to ask me? Oh. I'm going to ignore that question because but there's some people who are crazy who says, I'm gonna ignore, I'm gonna do whatever. I cry, I scream, I do heavy breathing, I embarrass myself, and so forth, especially in front of kids who used to look up to me like, he's my idol, he's my protector, and yet he cries, he tears and he can't take it. Well, excuse me. I have too much fun watching that kind of thing. So these people, they push themselves, okay? What happened is that you do it once. But don't be stupid. You do it once, then you rest for 7 days. Don't do it, and then let's say you break through, you try, let me push for 2 hours increments. You push 2 hours and say, but that's easy. Let me do it again tomorrow. You're being stupid. Your body is still not catching up with your mind yet. There's a difference in your mind between sitting for 2 hours versus sitting for 4 hours. Your mind changes, by the way. Did you know that? You're not aware of it, but your mind changes. Okay? Aware of not doesn't matter. Your mind changes. And you need time. Your body needs time to catch up with it. So push yourself every 7 days. You do it more frequently, you're asking for trouble. Your body cannot catch up that quickly. Okay? And that's one of the reasons why there's a unit of 7 days. Okay? Okay, that's the only practical reason I know of. But I'm sure that once you become enlightened, you find out more reasons why it's 7 days as well. But for us in our lowly lives, our low levels, 7 days is very important. Okay? Not only that, it takes 7 days not only for your body to adjust, but also 7 days for you to heal yourself of your illnesses. Okay? It takes time. You can't rush it. Okay? Pervading 3 periods. This refers to enlightened people. When they enlighten, they don't discriminate about time anymore. There's no more past, there's no more present, there's no more future. No more discrimination of time. All right? So, for example, Master YongHua never talked about, I want to retire. Because the people who say, I want to retire, go to the Bahamas and so forth, and so forth. Those are the people who still see retirement versus now. Okay? So for enlightened people like Master YongHua, he worked his butt off, since he started, now, and forever. Right? 395. 4, gathering similar kinds of kalpas. 5, collecting different kinds of kalpas.
4. 摄同类结。5. 收益类结。
This is where I don't understand what he's talking about. Okay, so similar kalpas. Okay. Kalpa is similar in the sense, for example, long kalpa, short. Okay, the short kalpas gather short kalpas, long kalpa gather long kalpas. Okay, and so forth. Okay, so there's the notion of similar chunks of time, if you will, of 5, collecting different kinds of kalpas, meaning that you lump them together, you happen to collect long and short, or happen to like diversity, affirmative actions, okay, and discriminate against white people, you into those things, go for it. 397. Again, these are this is for bodhisattvas, Let's not pretend we can understand everything. I don't. If you do, please teach me. 6, using a thought to gather kalpas. 7, kalpas and thought collected in layers.
6. 以念摄结。7. 结念重收。
Okay, 398. Gather kalpas into one thought. Okay, meaning that there's one thought here. You're able to span kalpas. How? Obvious, isn't it? When your legs hurt so much. Anyone still remembers that? I'm sure all of you are way beyond leg hurting, right? All of you. Yes? Yeah, when you're beyond that, you have no more fear of leg pains, right? When you're beyond, then remember looking back. And you were practicing you're going through this training of sitting in full lotus and facing your leg pains, okay? And do you remember how it felt? When Master tells you, 2 more minutes, 2 more minutes, you about to quit, okay? Bosco is about to quit. He suddenly remembered this voice in his mind. He says, Master says, 2 more minutes. So Bosco sits there, 2 more minutes, and those 2 minutes seem as long as 20,000 lifetimes. I swear to God. Right? So that one thought that gathers the suffering of 20,000 kalpas. Agree? That's why. You have the ability already, but you don't realize it, that's all. You're able to stretch your suffering to what it seems like eternity, let alone kalpas. At least I did. Way Mountain.
A Di Đà Phật. Con nhớ ngày Hạ Trân. Có chưa? Được chưa? Cái Phật tánh có biết của mình nó nó như thị như là như cái hư không, không phải hư không nhưng mà nó giống cái đặc tính như vậy. Không biết nó đâu mà lúc nào nó cũng thường còn. Thì Ngài nói là mình biết mình như vậy, mình tin mình như vậy, thì ngay lúc mình tin đó thì mình là Phật, Phật là mình. Chỉ cần hành giả tin thôi. Biết là cái biết của tôi với Phật một thứ. Tại tôi khởi lên, tôi bỏ cuộc, tôi không thích, tôi thích. Mình vọng lên một tượng giống như Ngài Huệ Năng nói, một tia chớp lên vậy đó, là mình đâu còn là cái tánh không đó nữa đâu. Thành ra Ngài Hải Trạch mới nói là ngay lúc tích tắc mà mình biết mình cái không đó, cái biết của mình nó thường còn như vậy đó, thì hành giả tin như vậy thì ngay lúc đó không cần phải trải qua tăng kỳ kiếp, hành giả đã thành Phật ngay cái lúc tin đó rồi. Mà tại vì nghiệp chướng mình không giữ lâu được, chứ nếu mà mình giữ được, thành ra Ngài nói là con vị tăng hỏi chứ vậy thì ngay cái mô minh đó thì làm gì? Thì Ngài nói có mô minh nào nữa? Cái không nó như vậy thì nó như vậy, như thị là như thị, that's common, that's it. Thì bây giờ mình nói một kiếp hay là một niệm là tại mình khởi lên một kiếp một niệm, cũng là những hai tia chớp khác. Nếu mà mình giữ cái không đó thì còn cái gì phải nói nữa. Mà mình vẫn còn sống đó, mà mình không còn vọng niệm nữa, thì lúc đó cần gì phải phân niệm một kiếp hay 10 kiếp hay là bao nhiêu. Con xin hết.
Master, so I remember Master Herchak. He say like the Buddha nature, your knowing nature is like thirst, thus it is. So it's not the emptiness, but you know that it's somewhere, it exists. And then your knowing nature is also, once you are aware of it, then you are the Buddha is you. And because you both have the same knowing nature, and the fact like you like it or you don't like it, or you give up or whatever, it's like you give rise to the thought of discrimination. And then it's similar to the Master say that there's a flash into the sky, and he say that once you're aware of it, you don't have to cultivate through countless kalpa in order to become a Buddha. The moment you're aware of it, you are a Buddha. So the fact like one thought is the same as one kalpas. And then it just because your discrimination nature that you have to distinguish between a thought or whatever. So if you don't give rise to any false thinking, then your knowing is like your knowing nature.
Very good. It's true. However, I can't connect with it. Okay? I'm trying to relate to these people. What's happening to them right now is not this Avatamsaka Sutra state here, teaching here is not about Bodhisattva, it's about you. You don't realize that you're doing it already. What are you doing? Okay, I gave you the example of enduring the pain where the 2 minutes seems like eternity, seems like the thought of pain there seems to be so long. And many of you experienced it before. I experienced it. I look back and say, oh my God, 2 minutes like eternity. Sounds familiar? Okay, we are able to do that already. This is this training. It's not about the Bodhisattva one day says, oh, my thought, I collect, one thought I can span, kalpas, 1 kalpa, 2 kalpas, 3 kalpas, 4 kalpas. No, he has to go through this training where he says, it starts with, like most of us, with that pain that seems to last eternity. Okay? You are developing that spiritual power to stretch your pain thoughts over 2 minutes, but actually it's more like 1 kalpa. Okay? To you. It's real to you. Yes? If you do that right now, okay? Let me tell you why you want to do that right now. Because after that, my friends, after you develop the ability to stretch the suffering from 2 minutes to 1 kalpa in your mind, that's what you're doing to yourself. Jewel Kong, let me allow Jewel Kong to steal my thunder first before I finish my thoughts.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
질문이 있습니다. 아이들한테 옳은 것을 잘 가르쳐 줄 때 어떻게 가르쳐 줘야지 무섭지 않게 느낄 수 있는지 궁금합니다.
So maybe can I translate for her, or may I ask permission? Oh, never mind. Then turn it on.
I don't understand Korean. I don't care either way.
So her question is, she's a middle school teacher, just to give you a background. She shares some worries with me that she wants to teach the kids to go to the right direction. What is the best way to teach these kids not to get scared of her, and at the same time to teach the right stuff?
She wants to teach the kids what?
She wants to teach the kids to teach kids the right things, but
The right
how
things.
do you do it? Right things, but how do you do it without being scary to them?
I don't know how to answer that. Let me look it up first. Bosco, are you still there? Make yourself useful. Bosco, by the way, for you foreigners, Bosco is a foreigner who is also a doctor for crazy people. Yeah, that's another word for it. Okay, can I finish the thought here and we go back to your question before I forget about what I wanted to say here? Okay, so we first are trained to endure this thing here, and in your mind, okay, you really believe that 2 minutes of excruciating pain seems like eternity, okay? And because of that, in the future, you'll be able to, when you have some skills, you'll be able to say, I'm going to meditate, okay? And I'm going to enter samadhi. Now, I will not exit samadhi until the Buddha comes to the world. That's what happened to Mahakasyapa. He's sitting in the Chicken Foot Mountain in Chungnan, in China, somewhere in that mountain. He sits there in samadhi and says, I'm going to sit in samadhi and will not exit until the Maitreya Buddha comes to our world. That's Buddhist teaching. Okay? It's not about just Mahakasyapa. It's also about you. Because in the future, you may not be able to sit that long. Okay? But you can say, let me meditate and enter samadhi until 9:30. Do we end at 9 or 9:30? 9. 9. Verboten 9. So I will enter samadhi and will stop at 9 o'clock. And at 9 o'clock, you exit. Okay? So that one thought there, you see, I just proved to you that one thought, I will enter samadhi and exit at night. And one thought, you shrink the one thought that lasts until 9 o'clock. You got the concept now? A thought can gather kalpas. Is that clear? You understand the concept behind this? This is why we're doing all this, because it's training for you to get there. It's not talk. Okay? There's a methodology behind this. This is why we do it this way. That people before you have done it. The Chinese have done it. Let's beat them. Any comment, Chinese person? Okay? And can I finish this and I go to the children thing? Okay? And 7 kalpas and thought collected in different layers. You know, and you have the world. Your makeup is not a single layer, but multiple layers. Okay, like your muscles. Your muscles, come in layers because it has one layer has to be formed, and then for the next layer to take place, and that's how we build things, by layering. Okay, like the 3D printed house. Okay, the house comes about because of it prints layer upon layers of this wall thing here. Okay, so this thought here actually. The kalpas and thoughts, okay, are combined layers upon layers upon layers upon layers. All right? It's a little bit abstract. Okay, go ahead, Conk.
말해요. 아이들이 잘못된 행동을 할 때 지도해주면 그거에 대해서 알아듣기보다는 그 지도하는 제 모습이 무섭다고 얘기하는 경우가 많이 있습니다. 그래서 어떻게 알려줘야지 되는지 궁금합니다.
So when she see a kid doing the wrong thing, she want to tell them what's wrong, but then they see her as a scary person. So what is the best way to deliver her message?
I would be scared of you too. What's the matter with you? If I do things that's wrong, that's my life. Can I do things wrong? Why do you have to tell me? You're trying too hard. Okay? Here's what happens. That's never mind about, can we give a simple answer like, let's say you and your children. It's easier, okay? Because when you talk about kids and talk about, a boy versus a girl, and then a naughty boy versus a nice boy, it's just too many variables, okay? Let's talk about your kids at home. Can we talk about that? Okay? For example, your own children, when they do something wrong, what do? Typically, parents will say, oh, you shouldn't do things wrong. Okay? And what happens? I remember my late father is like that. He says, what you did is so wrong. Let me tell you why. And he would lecture me for half an hour. Sound familiar? Boys? It's just me? My father cared. I don't know about yours, but my father really cared for me. I'd like to think he loves me. Not true. But it's a wrong way of expressing caring. It's a wrong way of expressing love. It's unwanted love. Love has to be wanted. Caring has to be wanted. Remember, I don't know about you, but I remember my bar days. You go to bars in Korea? This is real to me. It's not a theory. I remember when I used to go to bars to chase people. You're not helping. I remember those abject failures because you push yourself into people. You are not reading. I fail to read the interest. You push yourself and you get rejected because you push yourself wrong. You choose the wrong time. You understand my example? She doesn't go to bars. Oh, God, I don't know you at all. All I can think of is going to bars. Only YongHua likes it. He laughs. God, you Koreans are so virtuous. Only YongHua and I go to bars. Oh, God, you guys are so boring. Even Master Z going to bars? What's that? Yeah, he's more Korean than American. God. Anyway, I can't think of a good example, but I only remember from my personal experience that I go to bars, got rejected so badly because the bad timing. You push yourself on others at the wrong time. And you don't know how to do it properly. Okay? So, the simple answer is that, how about waiting until they say, can you teach me how to change? Until then, let them. They're not even your kids. Your own children, you have to answer to your husband, your mother-in-law, and your relatives, and so forth. But at school, they're not even your own kids. Why do you care so much? Wait. Wait until they ask for help. Okay? This is a cardinal rule in our world. We know so much we can help you, but we have to patiently wait until you ask for help. Until you ask for help, we accept you as you are. I have a disciple who keeps on offending people left and right, and she hides it, and she never admits it's a problem. So what do? I don't do nothing. Okay? Because there's no problem to do anything about. It's not my problem. What do I care? Right? You're trying to fix a problem that's not a problem for them. That's why you have problems. Does it make sense to you? It doesn't make sense to me. Let me try it again. The problem is in you. You fix the problem that you see as a problem. The kids you're trying to help don't see it as a problem. Just like my disciple, she pretends there's no problem. So what do? I see no evil. I hear no evil. I don't see any evil. We all get what we deserve. You know what I mean? The kids see no problem, let them hurt themselves, not even your own kids. There must be a meeting of the minds if you want to help someone. That someone has to want your help. Number two, you have to want to help. Number 3, you're able to help. Where are you right now? You're not even the number 1 yet. The kids said, leave me alone. I mean, I'm just being a kid. Let them be the kids. Let them get in trouble. None of your business. Does it make sense? What is that called? Why do I allow my disciple to keep on offending people, whereas in one of our cardinal rules as a left-home person, in the morning, you know what we do as soon as we wake up in the morning? We rub our crown and says a verse, among which it says, today I will not afflict all the living beings. And then what does she do? She goes and afflicts everyone around her. We want to teach people, you have to wait until the right time. We see a problem, but they don't see the problems. Therefore, we have to wait until they have a problem. That's all. So the first thing you have to learn with the kids is to wait. Okay? I like to say, this is what I do. When my disciples screw up, I give them more rope. Here, small rope. Go hang yourself. You want to offend more people? Here, go offend more people. Go. You have my blessing. Go. Go. And eventually, they will meet someone who says, how dare you offend me? I will bite you. Still, that doesn't work. He's still, oh, there's no problem, Master. Everything is fine. I'm great. And you're great disciples. I'm doing this all for you. They sweep under the rug. What do? No problem. Nothing to talk about. Here's more rope. Offend more people. Understand the principle of problem resolution? They have to come with you with a problem. Otherwise, give them more rope. It's nothing worse to me, it happened to me in my entire life, is to have the elders, the adults, trying to tell me what to do. When they say, don't lie. I said, what's the problem? Everyone else lies. Why not me? Okay? It's the wrong time to teach me. You understand? Better wait until I lie and get caught. And got in big trouble. And I said, I better not lie. That's when you have a chance to teach. Until then, you shut up. Let them lie. Let them create problems for themselves. Then, when they are ready to ask you for help, then come to me with a specific problem, how to help then. Now it's theoretical. You don't have the conditions for you to help anyone yet until they ask for help. Hey, how's that for not answering a question? I could have said, I don't know. Is a short answer. Oh, he has to ask question when time is run out. Okay, go ahead, ask question. It seems like they're not interested in the Flower Adornment Sutra. They're more interested in helping kids. Go.
마스터 아미타포. 관련된 좀 약간 유사한 질문인데요. 저는 이제 그 가까운 가족 중에 심각하게 계율을 어기는 거나 그런 건 아닌데, 가령 지정되지 않은 장소에 가령 쓰레기를 버리거나, 가령 백화점에 갔는데 화장품을 하나만 주는데 예를 들어서 2개나 3개 가져오려고 그럴 때 어떤 그런 탐심이 나는 어떤 그런 행동들을 보거나, 그리고 뭐 심하게 뭐 그러진 않지만 뭐 본의 아니게 남에 대해서 험담을 하는 그런 가족 중에 그런 경우를 뭐 저희 어머님이 그렇거나 예를 들어서 뭐 저희 같이 살고 있는 사람이 그러거나 그러면은 제가 번뇌가 올라와서 그거는 너 계율을 어기는 행동이고 그렇게 하면 너의 복을 깎아먹는다라고 말을 막 하고 싶어서 제가 막 번뇌로워지는 거예요. 근데 그럴 때 그 이제 여기 계시는 또 현안 스님도 좀 가르침을 주셔서 이제 좀 최대한 기다리려고 하는데 아 이건 좀 아니다 싶을 때 저도 모르게 그런 행동을 하면 너한테 좋지가 않아 이렇게 말하게 되는데 지금 마스터께서 말씀 주신 대로 좀 계율에 조금 어긋나는 행동들을 보더라도 조금 기다려주고 타이밍을 봐야 되는 건지 아니면은 또 어떨 때는 좀 즉각적으로 좀 수정될 수 있는 조언을 해주는 게 필요할지 그런 부분들에 대해서 여쭙고 싶습니다.
So his question is, he sees some of his family members, such as the mom or somebody that he lives with at home, they do things that break precepts. Like, for example, if there's like 2 items for free when you buy something, but she's trying to get 3 instead of 2, right? And then something like that, small things, not serious offenses, something like that. So he tried not to say anything, but it makes him afflicted. So he's wondering if sometimes it's better just tell them so they don't make more offenses, or just keep enduring it. For his family members.
Yes, my answer is very simple. Dharma glimpse. What he's asking is, should I help my mother, my sister, right? Yes? Nod your head. Yes? When they do something wrong, okay? I'm not convinced you're helping. You really want to help your mother and your sister. You only help you want to help yourself. Cut it out. It's your mother. If she decides to do something, it's her life. Respect that. It's called respect. Even though they're wrong, we still respect them. So bite your tongue. Don't say anything out of respect for her. Just because you know it's wrong doesn't give you a right to say anything. You lack respect for her because she does something wrong, therefore you lose respect for her. Okay? Deep down. You say, I cannot take this because as you as my beloved person and you keep on doing this, I will lose respect for you. It hurts me. Therefore, I need to stop you. So you're not helping your mom. You're helping yourself. Whereas for a person like me, if my mother steals, and she did, from me, she would steal money from my temple and she put in her van because she runs out of places to put money. To the point where she needs some body work. The van got into an accident, so she brought to the body shop, and they call her up and say, "Hey, you have $5,000 under your seat. Do you know that?" I said, "Oh, I'm coming." So, I'm not bitter about it. I said, "You want money, Mom? Here, steal some more. For God's sake, I don't know anything." Because it doesn't bother me. You understand? Because that's a proof. Because it bothered me. I said, "Hey, it's my money you're stealing. And therefore, you're stealing triple jewel." Baloney! I don't care about triple jewel. I only care about the fact that she steals money from me. That's why I try to stop it. If it doesn't bother me, then steal some more. What do I care? I'm just giving an example. Okay? be careful and make sure that when you try to help people, you're really helping them, helping yourself. You're helping them for their sake. You're not helping them because you're afflicted. It bothers you. That's why you have to open your mouth, like that young lady here next to you who see the kids who are doing something wrong and say, "Oh, it really bothers me." And she tells herself, "I'm helping the kid. Otherwise he gets in trouble," and so forth. My God, she's actually helping herself. Okay? Let kids be kids. Let mom be mom. That's my motto. Embrace them all. That's the spirit of Mahayana. Okay? Love your mom in her most imperfect ways. Accept the kids as who they are. Okay? Embrace them. Okay? And the practical question that I will have to answer for this lady before we end today, and now we have to stretch our lecture to 9:30 because it's all your fault. Yeah, you, young lady, you asked me a question about the kids. Now I can't leave without, finishing the kids. Finishing the story. I forgot what I wanted to say. Okay. But the kids, your question is the one thing I understand implied in your question is that you don't want the kids to get hurt. Okay? That's your concern. Okay? Make sure that you do things to protect them from getting hurt. Okay? But you cannot simply live your conscience with say, you see, I said a lot of things facetiously, please don't take them literally, okay? Giving a rope, that's for my disciple only because, I need to get rid of people who are not good enough. So I give them a rope so that, American expression, give them more rope so that they can hang themselves. Okay? But for kids, we adults have the responsibility. Yes, we have to wait for them to ask for help. Okay? Not just kids, adults as well. We have to wait for them to ask for help. In particular, kids. For kids, okay, the one thing you can do for them, okay, is instead of trying to help them, okay, you wait for the chance to tell them in advance the bad thing is going to happen to them if they keep it up. They need to be forewarned. You only need to forewarn them, then you've done your job. Because otherwise, you see the kids are doing something wrong, you say, no, Master YongHua says, ignore them, give them more drugs, give them encourage them to steal more, encourage them to bully others, okay? That's not what I meant. Well, sort of. I did mean that, didn't I? Okay, now I'm backtracking. The point I'm trying to make is that part of educating children, okay, is that you have to explain to them the consequences of their actions. That's our chance to teach them, okay? You don't say, stop, okay? You have to wait until, for example, to get in trouble, okay? That's when, before they even ask you for help, they get in trouble, they're afflicted. You come over and say, oh, I recognize you're afflicted and so forth. Here's an apple, eat some apple, I hope you feel better and so forth. But you have a chance to talk to them as a human being, that you realize that when you do that, you bully people, okay? You realize that the kids get hurt. Do you enjoy that? Okay? Okay? The kids get hurt. okay? And it affects them their entire lives, okay? And you say, you know, I don't know you're aware of it, but you have plenty of videos on YouTube where you see kids talking about their experience of being bullied, okay? And how it wrecked their lives, okay? They become depressed. Some kill themselves. Is that what you want? Huh? So you give yourself a chance to provide information to the kids for their sake, not because out of your own afflictions. Okay? So respect them as a human being, okay, by providing information instead of getting them to do what you want. Does it make sense? To me, that's education. Okay? You are the adults. You have more information. You have more experience. Therefore, you should share, give them a glimpse of the future, of the consequences. That is teaching right there. That's very Buddhist, by the way. You talking about the consequences, cause and effect. You teaching them right there without bringing up Buddhism, okay? And with respect of them as a human being. That's how we help them. And then, after that, you're done. Okay, that's point number 3. You help them, you offer them your wisdom, what you have, and you stop. It's up to them to do whatever they want with that information. You're done. Okay? To me, that's a job of an educator. You're supposed to provide them with information. And the next level is, you know, some other kids, you go a little bit further once you have this relationship, okay? When they trust you, that's when you can really teach them more. Until then, you have to respect them for who they are. They don't want to learn from you. So who are you to tell them anything? You have to wait until they want to know more. Then you tell them what's going to happen in the future. And you wait. And you know what happens? They're going to make mistakes. They get in trouble. And they remember, oh, she did care, didn't she? She respected me. She allowed me to be myself. She respected me as an individual. And then she forewarned me. But it's my fault that I got in trouble today. What I'm trying to tell you is you build trust before you can help people. Boy, today there's a lot of cool things I just said that I think I can write a book about it and make a lot of money. Why? Must be the tea. Thank you, everyone. We stopped here today exactly 2 hours. Oh. Let's do the reverse transference to help these people go to the Pure Lands.